Appdynamics monitoring. Okay. And after that, we will also do the kind of, what do I say, the practical part. I will show you how do we install the agents, how do we set up the application also in the start. So we will install a sample application called Supercar, and we will instrument that particular application with the Appdynamics Java agent. It's a Java application, and we will also install the machine agent, which will monitor the infrastructure, and we will play around with that agent. Um, we will also install that database agent for SQL. Um, yeah, so this is pretty much, and I will also show you little concepts about the end user monitoring, because we will be using a trial version of Appdynamics. So in that trial version of AppD, we will not have licenses for end user monitoring. So I will be just showing you some screenshots and the concepts of how do we do that, and I'll show you how do we create the dashboards in Appdynamics,
Okay.
and so that you can play around with that. It's very simple. It's all about how artistic you can be with respect to dashboards. Um, yeah, so this is pretty much I'll cover, and I'll also show a couple of debugging things. How do we debug if there are any issues with respect to agents? Um, yeah, these are the things which I would like to cover.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. You can give your introduction and let me know what
Yeah,
you're
sure.
expecting. Yeah.
Say, I'm Ali. I'm living in Italy right now, and I'm working in IT sector. So I've been working in IT sector for like more than 6 years,
Okay.
and it's a pleasure to have you today here.
Good. No, no problem. Can I know your background? Like, are you working as a developer, or
Let's
what's
say
your IT background?
a cloud architect.
Okay. So
Yeah,
your work is most of all on the cloud side.
cloud side, exactly.
Okay. So which one? Is it AWS or?
Azure and AWS, both of them.
Okay. Nice. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Uh, I'll share my screen.
Yes.
So, how much you are aware about the monitoring and the monitoring concepts?
It's a new concept for me. I have done it on Azure part,
Uh-huh.
but it was not the main task. And but let's say I'm fresher about it. I have not done it perfectly.
Yeah. No, I mean in general, the monitoring. So, how much you are aware about how monitoring works in the IT world?
Not that much. I don't know about it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, I'll just give you a brief idea about the monitoring, and
monitoring.
then we'll go to App Dynamics.
Okay.
Accessories. Okay, so
Yes.
basically, monitoring is about collecting the different set of metrics uh, for what we are monitoring. So let's say if we are monitoring the infrastructure, we would like to collect a set of metrics for the infrastructure, like the CPU utilization of the server, the memory utilization of a server, availability of the server, like that. So monitoring is basically about periodic collection of metrics, and you will be doing this collection of metrics in regular intervals. So how do you do that? You can do it uh, either by deploying some software onto your host, or you can do that even remotely. So if you do it, if by deploying some software on a particular host, then you will call that solution as an agent-based solution. If you are doing it remotely, you will be this was the old thing. I'm just giving you overview. Like earlier we had this agentless and agent based solutions. So now most of them are the agent based solutions, and even Appdynamics is also an agent based solution where you're going to deploy a certain software on the Appdynamics, sorry, on your host. So um, now we have two things, agent based and uh, agentless. So both of them. So here you are going to deploy some software onto the host. What the software will do, it will be a kind of a collection of scripts which will uh, 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 periodically run. You can schedule that, or you can by default there will be a mechanism where it will collect all the, it will run a certain number of scripts, and it will collect the metrics in uh, default intervals, or in periodic intervals, I would say. Okay,
Yes.
so these metrics will then be reported to a centralized controller. Okay, and from there you will be able to see them and take decisions based on that. Okay, so again, agentless is also similar, but you will do it by remotely connecting to the server and running those scripts, and then you collect the agents, sorry, and you collect the metrics, and then you will kind of disconnect the session. Okay, you are not going to deploy anything actually. Okay, so you will be just having a remote connection to the host, and then you will run your scripts to fetch the metrics, uh, and then you will disconnect from the session. So
Yes.
this is how usually the monitoring works. And both of them, agent one, I mean, when you are deploying an agent, so there will be some concerns like how this agent will affect to my host or your application. Okay, so these concerns will rise. So your agent has to be effective, lightweight, and it should not ideally have any security related vulnerabilities. uh, and you should not it should not ideally affect the performance of your server or your application. So even this is a collection of scripts, right? So this script should not take more amount of time or resources than actually your application itself. So these are the concerns which will rise usually. So whenever you are taking a monitoring solution, uh, so you should be aware of that, like how this monitoring works, and then you will see how this monitoring will affect your infrastructure, whether it will uh, take out huge amount of resources, or it will slow down your application or not. So these things you will have to consider. And the same way, with respect to agentless, you are not deploying anything. So only thing is you are going to give access to your machines for the, let's say, the monitoring tool to access to your machine, and then collect all the metrics. So here you will have to be sure of like what are all the permissions you are going to give to collect the metrics. So you should not be, I mean, whenever the scripts are running, right, and and in agentless it is remote, so it will have to do all the I mean, it can access unauthorized directories also. So in that way, you need to ensure of the permissions that are being provided to your monitoring tool to collect the metrics. Okay. So even in this case also, you might have to provide some permissions, but most of the times it would be the read permissions itself. So let's say if you are monitoring a Windows server, okay, so there it will run some PowerShell scripts, and it will collect the metrics. So we have this. What do I forgot that. This we have the CMDLets, right? The WinRM. Yeah, there are some libraries which monitor the Windows OS, like all the performance related metrics, your CPU utilizations, disk utilizations, everything. So if you just access that library, you will get all the data. So you will be providing the read permissions to access that particular library. So that's what you will do in case of Windows infra monitoring. So in that way, you just have to understand how your uh, monitoring is being done from the tool. Okay. So basically, this is how these are the things, like either you will be deploying some software or you are doing it agentless. I mean, remotely. So,
Remotely,
yeah.
yes.
So these are the two basic things. And even in AppDynamics, even though we deploy the agent, sometimes we do take kind of the remote monitoring. Let's say if you would like to monitor an URL, whether it is up and running or not. So you are not going to deploy anything on the host which is hosting that URL. So you will remotely ping that URL constantly and then monitor, okay, whether it is responding or not, something like that. Okay. Uh,
Yes.
and when it comes to monitoring, there are certain basic metrics like which I told you. Uh, uh, this paint is quite new to me. So we have this CPU utilization.
Are
Uh,
you writing something, Ravi? Because I cannot see. I just see the
oh,
first page, Appdynamics.
I'm sorry.
So that's
You should
why
have.
I felt that you are writing something, so
Okay,
I
okay.
didn't see that.
I thought I have shared only this thing. Let me share.
It is sharing actually, but it frees in the first page, that Appdynamic.
Ah,
Yeah, introduction.
is it?
Yes, now it's correct. Metric
Yeah.
CPU utilization.
I think you should have read that. Okay. Yeah, and stop me if you have any queries. No worries on that. Whenever you have.
Thank you. Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So, can you say name any metrics which you would like to monitor? I'm just asking as a cloud architect.
Yeah, you mean like application monitoring or web server monitoring or infrastructure monitoring?
Anything you just keep telling. You just keep uh, let's say
I, I don't get you.
let's say infra monitoring.
Okay. CPU, memory, disk availability. What else
And
we can have?
yeah, let's say processes. And yeah, so
Yeah.
most of the things, these are the uh, basic things that we would like to uh, monitor. And if you go to uh, APM, we will say number of calls per minute
Mm-hmm.
and response time.
Logging. Yes.
Yeah, sorry, you were saying something?
Yeah. Also logging, something like this.
Yeah, so inside we have
Accessibility.
something called as business transactions. It's not a metric,
Yes.
but so uh,
Uh,
now you said login, right? So for that login, we will monitor the number of calls. Okay, so there will be a business transaction called login, and for login, you will monitor the number of calls, and you will monitor the errors or error rates. Okay, so and also you will have the yeah. I'll go in detail later. So
okay.
these are the
Yes.
kind of metrics that usually we would like to monitor. Okay. Now coming to Appdynamics. So um, Appdynamics was founded in 2008, but it was purchased by Cisco in 2017. It was named the Magic Quadrant leader in Gartner for 9 straight years. I think now it still remains in the Magic Quadrant, but there are others also like Dynatrace uh, and Elasticsearch also, I think. So we have
Mm-hmm.
other competitors as well. Okay. So, and what does AppDynamics do? So it will help us to answer these kind of questions like troubleshoot problems such as slow response times and application errors. Just give me one moment. There is some noise if you are not able to hear.
Okay.
Okay. There is some construction happening in my neighborhood.
Okay.
Okay. Um, So AppDynamics will help you to troubleshoot problems such as slow response times and application errors. Automatically discover application topology like your components, your web server component, your database component, like that, all the components and the relationship between them, how the transactions are happening in between those components. So you will be able to see that. Measure end-to-end business transaction performance. So what is an ABT? We will see to that. Like so, end-to-end business transaction performance, we will be able to understand. Receive alerts based on custom or built-in health rules. So we will be able to set up alerting. So let's say if something is not performing as expected, or something is going to uh, perform badly, like we can kind of set up a preventative alert. Let's say if your CPU utilization is going beyond 80%, just throw me an alert so that it won't go to until 100% and bring down my system, something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
we can set up alerting that there are some very basic built-in health rules, and you can also build any number of custom health rules and analyze your application at the code execution level using snapshots. So AppD also helps you to take snapshots of the code or the of your of the actual executed code for a particular call, which will help you to analyze what actually happened. Okay, so it will go to until the last method level. Okay,
Yes.
so this is just the basic. Mhm. So as application performance management, so it's there are usually APM versus we also call APM as application performance monitoring. We can also call it as application performance management. So when we say management, it's a complete suite of applications. Okay, it includes application performance monitoring, end user monitoring, your business performance monitoring, your infrastructure visibility. So the complete suite is called the application performance management. But if you are referring only to the application performance monitoring, then we will let's say if you are using only the APM part of Appdynamics, it's only the monitoring your application. Okay. In end user
Yes.
monitoring, you are going to monitor how your user is actually experiencing your application, whether it can be via mobile or if it's a web-based application, if it is a browser on on his browser. Okay. And in business performance monitoring, you will uh, like kind of translate your application performance to how it will affect your business. Okay. And then infrastructure visibility, you will monitor the actual infrastructure as well, the hosting infrastructure of your application. It can be the database hosted, or it can be your VMs or network, or it can be uh, it can be both the network and the VM side. Okay. So over here, APM as AppD, it provides both of it. It will give you the AP performance monitoring tool as well and a management suite as well. Okay. So if you open up the console, the home page of Appdynamics, so this is what you will be seeing. So it's the complete suite of AppD, but however, if you just see the applications tab, then it is the application performance monitoring part.
Monitoring.
Yeah,
Yes.
you have the server monitoring where it will take care of the infra. You have analytics, which is the business performance monitoring. You have user experience. It will take care of the end user monitoring. You have database monitoring as well, which comes under kind of both application and infra. Okay. Supported languages, it's quite an old one, but most of these are still relevant. All
Yes.
these languages are supported by Appdynamics. So we have the agents for individual languages. So this is basically for the APM. When now I am referring APM to application performance monitoring, not for the management suite. Okay. So uh, in APM, so all these languages are supported. So most of the times in most of the organizations, these first two are the most used ones, Java and .NET. Inside Java itself, you have many frameworks. So most of them are supported. And in addition to that, you have extensions also. Okay. So you have extensions to .NET, you have extensions to um machine agent. So if certain things are not supported, you can these extensions are now open source, made open source. AppD is not supporting them. So you can build your own extension as well, and you can attach it to a machine agent. So even you can develop your own kind of monitoring solution, a simple one. Yeah. So these are the we have the code repository for Cisco. There you will have uh, all the extensions which are provided. So we can uh, download and you can customize them. Right now it doesn't support, but if you are using an like the out of the box provided one, and if it is not working, Appdynamics support will just help you to make it work, but they will not uh, ensure, like they'll not customize it to you. And if it is like very old, they'll not uh, try to fix it completely. Let's say this extension is kind of 3 to 4 years old, and it is not supporting the present operating system. They'll not worry about it, so they'll just say you will have to work on it.
Work on it. Yes.
Now these websites are changed. Developer.cisco.com, I think. uh, docs.appdynamics.com remains same, but for the extensions, the website, I think they have moved to a new repo. I'll update that. Yeah, sorry. Now, who uses AppDynamics? Everyone needs AppDynamics. Like it can be a developer or an operation or a support guy. Everyone will be benefited with the AppDynamics. Okay. So let's say we have different stakeholders in an organization, right? So we have developers, we have testers, we have operations guy who maintain the application after the go live. We have the help desk, we have the business owners. So how everyone will be benefited from Appdynamics? So developers will be able to see how the code is being performed until the last method level. Okay. So once you have instrumented Appdynamics, so they will be able to see that. And with respect to testers, so they can test the code, how the code is being performed even before it has gone live. Okay. So you can also integrate certain tools like JMeter, and it will show you in your Appdynamics console, like the load which is generated by JMeter and how it is actually performing uh, than the actual user traffic. So it will act as a kind of a testing tool also. Even if you don't use JMeter, so you will still be able to test how your code is performing. It's like a performance test, not the functionality testing. Okay. So and operations, yeah, so it will definitely help them to troubleshoot if there are any issues, and also to identify the issues, either proactively or reactively. And I also wanted to mention about this proactive and reactive thing. I hope you are have an idea. It's basically about whether your monitoring tool can do the proactive and reactive monitoring, like uh, whether it will tell you after the issue has occurred, or whether it will tell you that a issue is going to happen. In case of Appdynamics, it has both. Okay, we
Okay.
so using health rules, you do the reactive monitoring. So let's say um, if your application performance has degraded, your perform I mean your application is slowing down, your response times are going slow. So in that case, you would have set up an alert saying, if my response time for this particular transaction, or if as an overall application, if the response time is less than 10 milliseconds, throw me an alert. So this will be kind of a reactive monitoring. But there is something called anomaly detection in Appdynamics. What that will do, it will understand the load, and it kind of uses some kind of machine learning. We don't know what kind of uh, machine learning it uses or what kind of algorithms are deployed there, but it will use some type of machine learning, and it will basically learn your application for a period of time, and then it will show the possible anomalies in your event section or in your anomaly section itself. Okay, so you can either disable or enable that. So, and you can act on that. So I haven't made use of that much, but that option is still there. In my career, I haven't made use of the anomaly detection as I haven't made use of it at all. I mean, can't rely much on that. Just a heads up to you. Okay. Yeah, and then help desk. Yeah, so whenever you are triggering the health rules, they are the one who will be getting the health rules, and also they can directly get into the dashboard of Appdynamics and they can view it and see what's going wrong. And business owner also, um, you can translate your metrics to uh, business analytical metrics, like if a particular application uh, systems, let's say the payment transaction has gone down, then how it will in terms of dollars how or euros, how it will affect your business. So that kind of analytics you can deploy it in your organization in Appdynamics. Okay, so again, this feature is also not provided in the trial version. So analytics is also not available. Um, yeah. So one main thing is all of these stakeholders will be viewing the same truth, or the single source of truth. What we say, uh, they all will be seeing the same screen or same set of dashboard, same set of metrics. Let's say if you have different tools for different kind of monitoring, or um, you will be uh, uh, as I mentioned, you will be using a different tool for testing, and that testing tool will give you a different metric, and the developer will be using another tool for checking its performance, and both of them might not match, and they'll always be in kind of a argument saying, no, the code is performing good and the code is not performing well, something like that. And the operations guy will say your tool is not running fine, and actually the application owner or the developer will say no, it's performing fine. So these kind of arguments can be reduced by using the same kind of tool by all the stakeholders. So that can be facilitated by Appdynamics, because it does support most of the stakeholders requirements. Yeah, so this is what I just mentioned. Like, I mean, we will get into that. Like, the current state of operations, how it is there, it is kind of very complex, and uh, many different tools are there, many different environments are there. So the communication between these components are all will be happening, uh, and you will have to monitor all your critical components of that. So and if you have different set of solutions for monitoring different set of components, that will become expensive for you, and you will also need to have a different skill. uh, you need different skills to monitor different tools, right? So let's say you have three different tools for monitoring your database and your cloud or infra, and then your on-prem solution, and then end user monitoring. So you need resources for all of them to maintain. So if you combine all of these into a single suite of application, the advantage will be you will get everything under one roof, and also it will be easy to see the big picture. So all of these will be related, and then you should be able to easily troubleshoot to the cause of the issue. Okay. Yeah, I just mentioned between the blame game or the arguments that keep happening to while fixing the problems. Uh, the business guy will report, and the developers will say, no, it is because of something else. So these things will keep happening because they will be seeing different kind of metrics or different kind of uh, uh, outputs from different tools, right? So that can be avoided if all of uh, the stakeholders will use the same set of tools. So angry customer, the performance will be low. So there is a statistic for the Fortune 1000. The average total cost of unplanned application downtime per year is some $1.25 billion to $2.5 billion. The average hourly cost of an infrastructure failure is $100,000 per hour. So this is a old study. I think this would be much more or much less. We can reduce these costs is basically that's what this is about. Um, yeah. So, and have you heard of these metrics? Mean time to detect, mean time to diagnose, mean time to repair.
No.
Yeah. So basically, these are uh, uh, these these are the KPIs, we say, key performance indicators of how your application is doing or how your monitoring solution is doing. Okay. Let's say you have onboarded a monitoring solution, and then, or if you don't have a monitoring solution, let's say you have an issue, then they'll ask you what is the average time uh, that you take to find out that there is an issue. Okay, and what is the average time for you to diagnose this issue and to I mean, when I say diagnose, to identify why it is causing, and then to repair it. So these are the things that are usually considered at an organization level. Okay, to see
Yes.
how your monitoring solution or how your application is performing. Okay. Now, when I say average mean time to detect, okay, your application is down, it is not performing fine. Okay. I'll take an example of an e-commerce application. Okay. And it is down on a weekday or in a weekend. Let's say if it is down on a weekday, it might, if you don't have any monitoring at all, you will have to wait for your user to report that issue to you, right? Otherwise, you cannot, you will not be aware about that issue at all because you don't have any monitoring solution. So you will have to, that in that case your mean time to detect will be very high. Okay. Let's say if you have a monitoring solution, then the moment your application goes down, you will get an alert and you will start working on that. Okay. So here, having a monitoring solution will definitely reduce your mean time to detect. Okay. So you will be able to detect that issue very soon. Okay. Now, the next thing, will your monitoring solution will also help you to diagnose the issue? That would be not, that would not be an S in case of all the monitoring solutions. Let's say there are some solutions like you might have heard of Sitescope, Micro Focus or HP Sitescope. So it's a basic solution which will monitor your server, or it will monitor any your endpoints or APIs like that, whether they are working fine or not. Okay, so they work on the basic way of like they'll keep pinging the environment or your endpoint, and they'll monitor the response whether your response code is 200 or not, and if it is 200 then it will be a green tick mark. If the response code is something else, then you will have a red tick mark. Then you will get an alert. Now, in this case, you are not going to get any data about what has gone wrong. Okay. Let's say there might be sometimes based on the response code, you will be able to detect the issue. But here, in general, you don't have any information about why your uh, application or the monitored host is not performing fine. Okay. So in this case, you will be able to see in our Appdynamics APM solution, we will be able to take business transaction snapshots, okay, which will help us to diagnose the issue as well. Okay. So that will help you to reduce the time to identify the issue. And also you will have a big picture of your application on how it is running. Which will, okay, I'll get to these metrics a little more detail when we see the dashboard or the flow map. Okay. And it will also help you to reduce the mean time to repair. That means to fix the issue. How this will happen, let's say you know the solution prior to uh, uh, I mean, let's say you know some workaround for a solution, and you can do that. You can automate that particular solution using the tools provided by Appdynamics. Okay, let's say you get an alert, and for that alert, you know what has to be done, what has to be done to fix that. So you will script that, and you will automate that part, and you will let Appdynamics to take action whenever that alert is triggered. Okay, so that will also help you to reduce the time to repair. Okay, any queries?
And no, I
Yeah.
have already watched also some of your YouTube
Oh,
lessons,
oh, okay.
so I'm aware of most of them.
Okay, so I'll fast forward these things a little.
Yeah, yeah, sure. If we go uh, frankly to the practical part,
Mm-hmm.
it will be better.
Okay, and about how about the business transaction things and all?
Yeah, yeah. If the business transaction, if you explain it, would be better.
Okay, yeah,
Thank you.
I'll just fast forward these slides then.
Yes.
So you know about this dashboard and all, right? Yeah. So application dashboard. So here you will be able to see uh, which component is not doing well, and from that you will be able to identify. Okay, the diagnose is easy. So you have diagnosed where the issue is, and then you will be able to easily fix that. Okay. Uh, yeah. Then so yeah, I told you about the topology. This is how you will be able to see the flow map and the different components of your application. So the agents will discover which components are being used and which components are being communicated to. So uh, you'll be able to see this particular flow map. Okay. Next, we have in AppDynamics, we have this application tier and node structure. Okay. So node is the basic unit of processing, okay, that AppDynamics monitors. So basically, when you have deployed an agent, right? So whatever the component, wherever the component you are deploying an agent, that will be called as a node. Okay. In case of Java, okay, you will be deploying that agent to monitor the JVM. So one JVM will be considered one. Okay.
No.
In .NET also, it's like the CLR. So that CLR will be considered as one node.
Mm.
Now you will be grouping similar functioning nodes into one tier. Okay. So here in this example, the SSO nodes, we have two SSO nodes, and which will perform the single sign-on authentication,
Mhm.
which will take care of the authentication. So you are grouping them into one tier called SSO.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So you will be grouping this based on the uh, functionality of your nodes. You can have multiple nodes or you can have individual nodes. And then when it comes to application, so an application, a complete service which will perform your required functionality of an what do I say, the customer's requirement, that you can group it into one application. So even this will be quite tricky sometimes based on your organization. Sometimes a large set of functionalities can be grouped into one application, and sometimes you don't want to group everything into one application. You want to uh, divide things. Uh, you don't want to group everything under one thing, and then you want to divide it. So then you will what you will do, you will split one. I mean, for your customer, you might have you I mean, as an endpoint or as an end user, he will be seeing one application, but in the back end, when you are monitoring, you can divide it into multiple applications. Even that can be done. Okay.
Okay. I have a question here, Ravi. Can I ask a
Yeah, yeah,
question?
go ahead. Yeah.
Here, I understood the difference between nodes, which is the collection of units which makes the tier to
Mhm.
run the application, web server, or etc. For the purpose of Appdynamics, for each node, we will install agent to manage the tiers.
Yep.
Like for example, if we have an application or a web server, for each functionality, we will install different agents, right?
Right. So you will, let's say, if I have an application which has
Okay.
the code, the Java component, and the web component, the Apache web server, and I have a
Yes,
database.
exactly.
I
And also
have,
infrastructure.
yeah, and I have also have an infrastructure. So
Okay.
the infrastructure, you can call the infrastructure also as a node. So uh, let me draw.
Machine agent will be,
Let's say we have a database. Oh, not good. Let me use the tool once. One second. I go back to my old paint.
have you heard about draw.io?
Yeah, yeah, I know that.
Also very fine for this kind of
Yeah,
architecture.
that is also good. Let me do that itself then. I also use the whiteboard where I can draw the things.
How do we know the number of nodes we require for
It's
particular?
basically the number of JVMs. That's all.
Okay.
So if that's your question, it's basically the number of JVMs that you have, and uh, In case of machine agents, it's the number of hosts or the number of the
Hosts.
virtual machines.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's say you have 5 virtual machines, that is 5 Windows servers. However, on each Windows server, you have 2 JVMs. Let me take this as JVM.
For example, if we have 50 different applications which are running for 50 different customers,
Mhm.
how can we analyze and how can we know how many like nodes are running and how we need to
So
install the agents for each
it's
of
not a
them?
direct answer. You need to analyze the infrastructure. Okay.
Okay, with a
You need to analyze
particular
their
client.
infrastructure. You need to analyze their architecture of all the applications.
Mhm.
So whenever you are considering purchasing a monitoring solution like AppD, it's not gonna be uh, straight away.
Okay.
So
It needs to be discussed with particular client, right?
yeah, you have to discuss with the particular application owners. You have to ask their architecture how it is. Let's say how many hosts they have. Now, I have just taken in this case. So if this is a Windows VM, in that I have 2 JVMs, okay, which are performing 2 different functionalities. Let's say this will take off the SSO and this will actually take care of the application part. Okay, so both these parts will need 2 different application agents. Okay,
Okay.
can I insert text here? Yes.
The screen is freezed. Maybe you are writing something.
You are telling me very late.
No, because I was thinking that you are doing something.
You should tell me.
Yes.
I am in the.
Are you there, Ravi?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I got disconnected. I
Okay.
accidentally closed the application. Let me share back. Yeah, whenever you see this, please just point out.
Yeah, in fact, I have the same problem with when I share my screen and they can't see, they will alarm me after 5 minutes. So sure, when I freeze, when it is freeze, I let you know.
I hope
Now
I'm
nothing
seeing all of
is
them.
shared. Okay.
Very bad diagram.
No, it's fine. Professional.
JVM1.
Okay.
So for this, you need APM2 and you need APM1. So you need 2 application agents, and
Yes.
for monitoring this Windows server, you need 1 machine agent.
Agent.
Machine 1. Here you need the machine 2. So over here, this is a database, right?
Yes.
Over here, it can be only the DB agent.
DB agent.
Okay. And this DB agent you can install it here, or you can install it here, and from here you can monitor it. So we will go to these details later when we discuss DB agent. But let's
Yes.
say you need one DB agent. Along with that, this DB agent, the DB will be hosted on any VM or something like that, right? So along with this DB agent, if you want to monitor that host as
Yes.
efficient as a machine, I mean, you will still get some basic metrics of the machine with the DB agent itself. You can just enable, there is an option. If you just enable that option, you will get that. Otherwise, if you want to deploy something on the host, which is hosting the database, then you need another machine agent, that is machine agent 3. Okay. So in this scenario, in this very simple scenario, you need 4 JVM, that is 4 APM. You have 4 APMs. So, sorry, 4 JVMs, you need 4 APM license. You need 2 to 3 machine licenses, and you need 1 DB agent license. Okay. So if you see this architecture diagram of an application, and then you will be able to understand, oh, okay, how many licenses I may need. And based on that, and again, you will have to forecast their applications growth as well, right? So let's say by next year, they are going to upgrade these, they are going to increase these machines to, or they're going to double the machines. Or let's say they also have a HA infrastructure. Okay. High availability is configured. So they'll have a replica of this complete infrastructure. And if you have to monitor that as well, then your licenses will double. Okay, so in that way, you will be able to calculate or identify how many agents you will need. So it cannot be like a straight away an answer.
Okay. For the DB, we don't need any competencies for particularly database, right?
You
Like
have
queries.
you will get the query data.
Okay.
Let's say you have this Apache also. Okay, web component. Then you have a Apache agent also. But this one can be done as part of the machine agent extension also. Machine Apache agent is not that effective. The reason I say not effective, I'll tell you that. Okay. Or I'll say instead of Apache, web. Okay. So you will need this as well. Sometimes if you know how Appdy works, let's say I told you, right, instead of buying an Apache extension, I will make use of machine agents extension. Sorry, instead of taking Apache agent, I will make use of a machine agent extension. Extensions will not consume licenses. Only agents will consume licenses.
Okay.
Okay. So, and then node is the actual physical entity. Okay. You are having an agent that is installed. However, tier is a logical entity. You are grouping the functionalities into tiers.
Tiers.
Okay. Now, this is my SSO JVM 2. This is my, let's say, the backend, or what do I say? Login, I'll say. Login JVM 2. So you will need APM 4 for this. So this is my login JVM 1. Okay. Now these two I am grouping it as SSO tier, these two JVMs. And these two, I am grouping them as login.
Login.
AppD will not know whether this is doing login functionality or SSO functionality. It will just monitor the code, what the JVM is doing, what kind of calls are happening through this JVM. So based on the functionality as the user perceives, you will have to tag them into group or group them into a particular set of tier. Okay. So grouping them into tier is completely based on uh, human beings. Basically, the agent will not know. If I give the same set of application to you, you might group them differently, I might group them differently. But I mean, ideally we should do the same, because if we understand the functionalities similarly. But in case of a very large functionality, very large application, that might differ very little way. What I mean to say, it is completely a logical entity tier. But an agent or a node, it is the basic entity which will it is the entity, it is the agent itself. Okay, so you cannot I mean, it is there. You cannot say you cannot differentiate that. We both will be seeing that in the same way. And you need to have a unique name for a node. Okay, all over your
Yes.
Appdynamics. Okay, let's say where is my PPT? So you, let's say this is Java. You have named it as node 1. You cannot have the node 1 in whole of your Appdynamics tenant. You have,
Okay.
let's say, 50 applications. You cannot have node 1 again named in any of the 50 applications nodes. You need to name it differently.
Differently.
But you can name it as SSO in another application. A tier can be duplicated in another application. You got it?
Yes. Yes. Sure.
Node name has to be unique across the Appdynamics.
Okay.
So basically what we do, we give the host name, which will be usually unique, hyphen, and then functionality, or we'll name it as JVM01 or something like that. Or let's say if this node name is server 1, then you will do server 1 hyphen SSO. Then this is
SS.
server 2 hyphen SSO. That is how you will name the node when you are instrumenting your agent, so that it will be easy to identify also, and
Identify.
it will be easy to name as well. You will not have to find too many names. Okay.
Yes.
So this is about nodes and tiers and application. Application is grouping of one or more related customer applications that are closely related by the business function. So it should relate to the business function. It has to achieve some uh, business function, so that it will be easy for us to group the services or related customer applications to one function. Oh, sorry, one application. Okay. You can map multiple applications that are connected as a single Appdynamics monitored application, or keep them separate. I told, right, in case of, let's say if I take the example of an e-commerce application like Amazon. Okay. Oops. Why so much security? Okay, here I can either monitor this complete application as one monitored application in AppD, like as Amazon. Or what can I do? I can divide this application into different categories as the shopping cart, the departments, or what is this, available categories. And then I can uh, monitor this as my cart, only the cart thing. and I can monitor separately the payment part. Once once the customer adds all the required his shopping list into the cart, then he has to make the payment, right? So
Mhm.
you can monitor only the cart, how the cart is performing, and then you can move to payment part, and you can see like whether the payment is executing as expected or not. In that way, you can keep uh, separating it, or you can combine it. Okay, both are okay, and both has its own advantages and disadvantages.
Exactly.
I'll show that. So let's say in this application, in this we have a scenario where we have a customer portal application and the billing system application. So these both are instrumented as separate applications in Appdynamics. Now, if there is a transaction between from the service tier to the UI tier of the billing transaction, you will have to navigate in Appdynamics from one application to another application to see the details. If there is an issue or some happen, you need to troubleshoot something, right? That kind of navigation thing will kind of make the troubleshooting slower or something. But what you can do, a user wants to pay their bill, that request starts in the UI tier and of the customer portal and makes a call to the billing system of the service UI tier. In this configuration, if the pay bill request has an error, that means if the bill transaction is having an error, you would need to check both applications in order to determine the root cause. Like because
Mm.
this transaction is between both of them, so it will be kind of little cumbersome for you. Let's say I will combine it into one application called enterprise, and I will divide these two things into separate tiers. Okay. So what
Okay.
this will do, you will be able to see all of them in the one application flow map itself. Your service tier of the customer portal is making a tier call to the billing service tier, which will be tracked in the same application. Okay, so these things will be you will have to consider, or these things are like the small pros and cons of how you are grouping things. And one other thing is, the one other main important thing is, you can have 200 business transactions per applications which can be monitored. Okay, let's say if you have combined a very large application, let's say this Amazon itself, which will have so many number of business transactions and important business transactions which has to be monitored, and if it goes beyond 200, then you will not be able to monitor it effectively. So in those cases, it is advisable to divide them into separate applications. And let me change this. So you will be able to monitor them effectively, and you will be able to focusly monitor the critical business transactions of that particular application. Okay, so that is one of the, that is another point to be considered, the number of business transactions, because you have 200 as the limit per application.
So
Okay.
for here for Amazon,
Mhm.
we have all unique in one place, like business transaction and UI right
Mhm.
here.
Yeah,
All are together.
I didn't get you.
Uh, can you go to the diagram, please? The previous one.
Mhm.
Yes, here, customer portal application, which is the, for example, in Amazon, the UI, which we can see, and billing system application also is inside that portal.
Yeah.
Both are together, right?
Yep. In
Okay.
Amazon, it does make sense to use this way.
Yes. So
Okay.
here we divided them, but in fact they are all together. But in App Dynamics, we are dividing them, right?
Right.
Okay.
Because we would in customer portal itself, we have many transactions like let's say more than 200 which needs to be monitored, and in billing also we have more than 200. There are
Yes.
other ways if you still want to combine it and keep it under 200. There are ways, but yeah, as we go forward with the training, you will find that ways and you will be able to take a decision on that. We can reduce the number of critical BTs. You can merge the number of BTs. So there are certain uh, best practices where we have. So you can apply those best practices. Even after applying those best practices, you will still see, no, you are not able to monitor everything under one application. You can go ahead and divide it for the effective monitoring. Okay.
Yes, clear.
Yeah. This is not that it is not monitoring. It is still effective. It is still monitoring. Only thing is you will have to switch between two different applications. Though
Applications.
this is a very small component and you have divided it into two applications. That's all. Okay. So what is an agent? It's a small snippet of code, or you can call it's a set of scripts. Okay, or plugins or extensions also will be available that monitor code runtime behavior. So how the monitoring happens? It will be based on the using the GUIDs. Um, have you gone through this also? The global unique identifier part, how a GUID is assigned to a transaction, how it is tracked.
No.
Okay, so I'll explain this then. So here
Yeah.
they have taken an example of movie stream application where an application is small UI based application, movie stream. It will list different kinds of movies and you will be able to rent those movies or you can purchase these movies. That application has some database component also. And you have a rating application also. You can, after watching the movie, you can rate those movies also. So this is about that particular small application, example application. Okay. Now um, yeah, I'll go to that GUID part. So agents are plugins or extensions that monitor the performance of your application code, runtime, and behavior. There are a number of different agents. I think we are aware of that already now. So analytics agent or the agent and also the application agents. And also in addition to that, we have machine agents and database agents also. Okay. So what they will do, yeah, go ahead.
No, no, nothing.
Yeah. Okay. Once deployed, app agents will start monitoring the every line of code. Okay. Now, what will happen? Unique tags called GUIDs are assigned to every request and passed on along to every method call and every downstream request header. Okay. Now, let's say this is our UI for the movie stream application. Now, I will make a call or I will open up this UI. That means I am making a call to this particular application. The moment I make a call to this application, a GUID will be assigned from the Appdynamics for that particular request. Okay. Now, from once I open up UI, let's say I might go to the rating page or the service page where I will be able to rent a movie. If I go to this particular page, that GUID will be passed on with this transaction from this page to this page. Okay, so the GUID will remain with the whole of transaction to ensure from one particular tier or one particular node to another node until the transaction is completed, so that it will stitch the complete flow of my uh, experience or my transaction. Okay, so GUID is the global unique identifier. It's a, I think, 32-bit code. Okay, which will help you to completely stitch the transaction of a particular user. There is more about it in, I think, the coming slides. I'll finish that part and then I'll come back here. That would be better. Yeah, I have already started that. I think that's so. I'll show this GUID. We will be setting up the lab. We will be setting up a trial controller. Okay. And once we have the a sample, our sample application deployed on our server, and once we have some load, I will show this GUID and etc. for the transaction or the snapshot which is captured. Okay.
How can I have samples like the database and web server infrastructure?
How
How
can you
can I
have?
have yes? How can I have these kind of web servers as a purpose of test during our lab, like web server database?
We will have a web server. So I'll share you the documentation. Either you can, if you want, you can set up your own lab, or I'll be going through the when we as part of our class, I'll have this one application. I'll be setting up this. I'll give you this. I'll send you this instruction file. Okay. If you have your own VM, you can set up this particular application. It has a web server, Apache web server, and it has a Java application, and it has a MySQL database.
Okay.
Okay.
So we can have it on VM also, not cloud, right? If we
You
want
can have
to
it on cloud also, or you can have it on VM also.
VM,
Yeah.
desktop VM, right? It's possible,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What you can also do is it actually this particular code is supported on a CentOS VM. Okay. How good are you with Linux?
Unfortunately, not that much professional.
Basic.
Yes, yes, yes. For
Yeah,
the
that's
purpose
enough.
of installing and things,
Yeah,
no problem.
that's good enough. So, but I'm saying this is supported on a CentOS machine. Okay, you just have to uh, follow these complete instructions. That will help you to set up the lab. Okay, that's not uh, a brain. I mean, that's not very difficult. What I mean. Okay, so
Hmm.
once you do this, you can report directly to your controller. You can install the agent on that machine, and then you can make it report to your controller. Another option, if you don't have a VM like a CentOS VM, is you might have heard of this uh, remote. No, not sorry, remote. Just give me 1 second. What was that? You can build a virtual VM on your desktop, right?
I have Oracle VM VirtualBox already installed.
Oh, then I think if you can bring up a CentOS VM on that, then that this should help you.
Okay. Means I
And
have to add that VM, right?
yeah, I
Okay.
had an image of uh, that particular VM. You don't have to do anything on that. I'm not sure if I still have it on my hard disk or if it is gone. I'll check on that. If I have it, I'll definitely pass it to you so that you don't have to. It's Super VDI is an application. It's not Oracle. Super VDI or something is an application. I'll give you those complete instructions. So you just have to open up that image. If you just bring up that image, this complete application will be installed for you. You just have to do the configurations.
Okay.
But however, I will go through this as part of the training.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
how about architecture? So we have this two kinds of controllers. We have the on-prem controller and we have the SaaS controller. In case of on-prem controller, you will have to maintain all components uh, of your controller. You cannot, Appdynamics will not be, uh, sorry, in case of SaaS, you will not have access anything to the controller backend. Okay, and
SaaS means software as a service, you mean?
yeah, software as a service.
Okay.
So the trial license that we will be getting is for the SaaS version.
Okay.
How about you? You will be working on, like I heard you have got a job with respect to Appdynamics. There you have the on-prem or the SaaS controller.
On-prem.
On-prem, okay.
So, yes.
SaaS is much easier. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So the
So,
nature of any question?
yeah, so I need to install the uh, particular requirements like DB
Mm-hmm.
database or web server or something like that as a
Mm-hmm.
sample so
Mm-hmm.
that we can install agents for each of them, right?
Yeah.
And then we will do the monitoring and other things on the
Yep.
controller, right?
Yep. Yep.
For the AppDynamic controller, do I have the trial, like free
Yeah, that's
trial,
what I told you. We have the SaaS controller trial version, which will be available for you for 14 days.
14 days?
Yeah, 14 days. They will give you the uh, 5 licenses of APM and database agent also, and it's the kind of pro version. After 14 days, it will become light version, and the number of agents or licenses will also reduce from 5 to 1.
Okay. You
Uh,
will give the access or it's free
you
for
can get
all?
that. I'll show you how do we get that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Anything else?
Now it's clear so far.
Okay, good. So, how the agent and controller communication will happen? So, there will be a one-way communication from the app server agent and the machine agents and all other agents. They'll keep sending the data to the controller. So, I hope you have got what is a controller. So, controller is the centralized. It's another. You can consider it as a small application of AppD, which will consume all the metrics from uh,
Agents.
agents, and then it will consolidate and it will present it to as a application dashboard, and also you can start working on those metrics and dashboards for you. Okay, so here we will have one-way communication. There will be a two-way communication also in case you want to download some configurations from the controller. So the two-way communication will happen when you have done some configuration changes for the agents. Okay. So, and most of the time it will be, sorry, instead of saying most of the time, in case of SaaS, it is always HTTPS communication. It will happen over the 443 protocol, sorry, port. And in case of on-prem controller, it will be HTTP, and the port will be, the default port is 8090. You can customize that. Okay. So
Okay.
agents will communicate to controller on this particular channel. And let's say you have configured or you have updated the configuration on the controller to not to monitor some of the transactions. Okay, that configuration will get downloaded by the agent. Okay, as part of that, again, the two-way communication will also be there. And this communication of agent to controller, okay, will be every 60 seconds. So every 60 seconds, the metrics will be posted to the controller. That is the least uh, period of time or interval of time the metrics you can monitor. Let's say you want to monitor at 1 o'clock, 1 minute and 30 seconds. You will not be able to get that metric. You can only get the metric at uh, in between the minutes, not in between the seconds.
Okay.
So the metrics plot in the metric browser will be happening in the interval of minutes, not in the interval of seconds. So the agent configuration channel queries the controller for any new configuration every 60 seconds and download those changes. So I told you, right, this one-way communication will also look for any changes in the configuration. If there are any changes in the configuration in the controller side, it will download those configurations every 60 seconds, even
Mhm.
that will happen, and it will apply those configuration changes.
Okay.
And the agent metric channel posts all new periodic metrics, JMX, Windows performance metrics, counters, business transaction metrics to the controller every minute. If there are
The
new
changes
bits,
will be, sorry to interrupt you. The
yeah,
changes will be like alerted to the, for example, to us, or it will be saved in some particular place so that we can see.
it will be there in the configuration files.
Yes.
So I'll show that. Whenever you make a change on the configuration in the on the agent on the controller side, that will actually go and sit in a configuration file, and that file will get downloaded to the agent. Okay, let's say the agent has discovered 10 business transactions, on all those business transaction related metrics are pushed to the controller. Now, out of 10, you don't want to see one metric. Let's say, for example, in case of Amazon, you will have some uh, update page or uh, the customer service page. So customer service will be one business transaction that will be discovered. I'm just taking a example, and this particular help customer business transaction you don't want to monitor. You have excluded that on the controller side. Okay, now you want to monitor only the 9 business transactions. Once you exclude that particular BT, that will go and sit in the exclude settings of your configuration, and that configuration will be pushed back to the agent, and the agent will start monitoring as per the new configuration.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
So if there are new BTs that have not seen before by the agent, they are posted for registration every 10 seconds. They will get registered. If the agent has collected any new snapshots or events, they are posted to controller every 20 seconds. So these are with respect to the new BTs and the new snapshots. So this is okay. And configuration changes can sometimes take 2 to 3 minutes for the changes to show up. So it won't be kind of immediate. It will take some 2 to 3 minutes. Now, agents capture performance activity and send it to controller, which is updated in real time. The controller helps monitor, troubleshoot, and analyze your entire application landscape from backend infrastructure to end user. So all kinds of monitoring will be there. So the way you access the controller, you can either use it via the browser UI, or you can use the mobile app UI, or you can use the RESTful APIs. So you can, let's say you want to fetch some data for your third party usage, third party application usage or something, you can use the APIs to fetch the data. Okay, so these are the ways you can access the controller. Sometimes calls across boundaries where one controller gets call data from the next app in the call chain.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, so we will see this thing drill down and all. Yeah, this is how the flow map looks like once you have instrumented your application. So anything, let's say if you have instrumented a component of your application, then it will have this kind of a circle along with the technology name uh, uh, for that particular agent, I can say, or for that particular component. If that component, let's say this particular component is not having a circle, okay, or if it is not having, it is kind of in a gray color, then we call this as a backend. That means this is not instrumented with Appdynamics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anything which is instrumented by an Appdynamics, it will be called, it will be shown in green or red circle based on
Green.
the health of it.
Okay.
Okay, anything red, that means you have some errors on this. Even
Alarm
you
we
have some
have.
part of errors. Yeah. And we, these will be grouped. I mean, usually you will see the tiers. You will not see the individual
No.
nodes. You will see the number of nodes inside that particular tier as a numeric notation here.
Mhm.
Here you see 3.
So all the circle ones are like tiers, and the nodes are inside.
Yeah. So the
In this
account management
particular
is the,
demo, we have one node in every tier, right?
yeah, most of them are having one node. These two
And
are
two.
having 3 nodes.
Yes, two, three
And
nodes. Yes, yes.
yeah, and let's say if your application is making another call, an external call to another application, we call that as
Mm-hmm.
a downstream application. Okay.
Downstream.
Yeah. So
Okay.
this particular downstream application is notified by the tiers and the nodes of that application. Okay.
Yes.
So account management, uh, I mean, let's say this whole application is called account management, and this account management is making a call, downstream call to credit check application. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Now your account management will be called as the upstream application or something like that. Now if you can configure, let's say once you have configured this particular endpoint, uh, this endpoint is a database you have with DB agent, you will be able to drill down inside the DB metrics also once you have configured it. Otherwise, if you double click and see it, you will be able to see only the metrics like the calls which have been received and how long they have taken to reach here. That's all.
Uh, what is the difference now between the circle one and those who are grade? Yeah.
These ones,
Yeah, exactly.
they are all kind of considered as the backends itself, because from here you will not be able to further drill down because we don't have either instrumentation or this is my last point of my transaction. So this is my backend. Now from database, you might be doing some other call, or you might be sending data back, or let's say uh, database you can instrument it. Now let's say this as another API endpoint of another application called which is this. This is credit check, and let's say this is called loan approval or something like that. This is part of the loan approval application. Now you haven't instrumented this component of loan approval application with Appdynamics agent. So from your account management to loan approval, you will be able to only see the traffic flowing to that particular point. You will not know what's inside your loan approval, whether it is a Java application or whether it can be .NET, or whether that transaction is being processed or being rejected. Are there
Mhm.
any errors, whether that
Yes,
application is fine or not? Those details like this, you will not be able to see.
exactly. We have not instrumented them
Right.
like we instrument other. Okay, I got
Yeah.
it. Clear.
Or it can be a third party where don't have access to instrumented also. Even that is also a possible solution.
Yes.
Okay. And on top of it, on each and every transaction, you will see the kind of transaction and the transaction related metrics also. The number of calls per minute and the response time. Okay. So
Yes.
so you will be able to see all these particular metrics. And I think I mentioned this as well. The technology of that particular node or tier, sorry, the tier, you will see that technology as well also mentioned. I hope I have covered.
Generally saying, this flow map
Mhm.
is for one particular client, customer, right?
Yeah, one particular application you can say. Yeah.
One particular application, yes. Okay.
You can drill down into a node and you can see the flow map for that particular node also or tier also.
Mhm.
So even flow map is available for at a lower level as well, I can say.
Yes. Dependencies like,
Yeah.
yes, nodes and all.
So let's say this is having 3 nodes, right? So you want to go inside this particular tier. Yes, you can
Yes.
drill down. So this will kind of give you the topology of your application also. So you can, let's say, see, this is what the kind of architectural view they have provided. So, however, this is the live view of how your actual application is performing or how the traffic is flowing in your application. And with flow maps, you can quickly determine the health, access any additional linked applications. You can view all the metric data for all tiers and nodes. Click items to drill down to the next level. Yeah, we covered all this. You can also create custom flow maps, for example. Yeah, that is one more option. uh, let's say you don't want to see the uninstrumented points because you don't have visibility. There's no point of seeing it, or you don't want to, you want to see only some part of your web backend, how it is performing. So you can create your own customized flow map just by selecting the ones which you need or excluding the ones which you don't want. So you can customize your flow map and you can save that.
Okay, yes. Very good. Ravi, can we have a break like
Yeah.
30 minutes? Because I have to manage something for
You want to go
30.
now, or shall we go after 15 minutes?
Uh, okay. Yes, thank you.
We'll take 15 minutes, or you will go now.
No, no, no. We'll take 15 minutes, then I'll go.
Cool. Yeah. So how long you want to do the training for today? From 1:30, this is my time. I'm telling my time. From
Okay.
1:30 to 2, we will take a break, and then we will do 1 more hour.
Yes,
Okay.
one more. Exactly.
Okay. Cool.
In 15 minutes, we'll take a break for 30 minutes. Then after that, we'll have 1 more hour.
Okay.
Yes, as you
Yeah.
said. Okay.
Cool. So yeah, this is about flow map. Um, I'm just skipping the questions part. And yeah, about the application dashboard. So this is about how the application will look like, the dashboard, and what are all the metrics you see or what kind of data you see. So you will see the load, basically the number of calls and per minute, or and the total number of calls which are flowing to your application. And then the response time in milliseconds, you will see it. So the average response time for your application and the total number of errors. So errors can be defined by basic definition. There are certain number of there are 4 type of errors. We will go into the detail of that. So there are 4 types of errors in AppD. So you can customize that also. And these errors are basically those 4 types of errors: how many number of errors and per minute, and events if there are any changes. So event is basically
Mhm.
any change in the state of an
Any
application.
changes?
Yeah, if there was any restart in the application, or if there were any health rules that were violated, um, or if there were any configuration changes in the application. So those things will be coming under the events. And then the business transaction health. So the overall health of the transactions, how many are in critical state or warning state, or so it looks all green. And the node health. So individual nodes of this particular application. So when I say node, these are all the APM agents. And then the server health. When we say server health, it will be the hosts of this. So uh, let's say in this particular example, account management, there are 3 nodes, and these 3 nodes can be on different hosts or on the same host. So that particular host will, which is monitored by the machine agent, will be coming under this server health or the server tab. Okay. So basically this is the infra which is hosting the node, or the machine agents metrics, which is coming under here. And then the transaction scorecard. So the business transactions which are discovered, they will be also monitored individually with respect to the slowness or the number of calls, etc. Basically, the response time itself. So you will be categorizing those transactions as either normal or slow or very slow, and then uh, these are basically, you will have a default definitions of what is considered as slow and very slow. You can customize those definitions also. So you are seeing the health of those transactions as a, no, I mean, this is the basic or the default homepage of any application which you have instrumented. So this page, you cannot customize it. You can just make it a full screen, or you can make it the smaller one, but you cannot customize it like, I don't want to see load, I want to see some other metric. No, that is not possible. So this is the default view, and here you can customize your flow maps that I'll show you once we have instrumented an application. So what we will do after you come back from the break, instead of going through this theory again, like the
Okay.
concepts, we will try to install the application, and we will try to bring up one trial controller, or we will try to bring up the controller tomorrow, because it will not take much time. Or if you want to do it, I'll show you the steps. If you want to play around after our session, uh, you want to play around, you can do that. But since the validity is for 14 days, I am thinking to bring it up tomorrow.
Okay. So we can save 1 day.
Yeah, if you want
Okay.
to have the data, uh,
Exactly.
you can bring up any number of. We have a trick, so you can bring up any number of controllers, but it will stay only for 14 days. The data.
14 days.
Yeah,
Okay. Like with different emails, maybe, right? Or
right, with different emails,
okay. Good.
and it won't accept Gmail.
Huh.
Yeah,
Won't accept Gmail, right?
right. It won't.
That's why I couldn't register with my Gmail account.
Oh, is it? You already tried that.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Ravi, for the purpose of reporting to the customer,
Mm-hmm.
uh, we need to like document all the reports and send them to the customer. So, for example, they have some events or some alarm or something like this which they need to rectify.
Mm-hmm.
How we can communicate with the customer?
You can create a dashboard for that. Let's say um, on this application, uh, you have certain health rules which you have configured under the alert and respond. You would have configured, let's say, 5 health rules: one for CPU, one for memory, one for disk. So all
Mhm.
those health rule status, you can put that in a dashboard. Okay. And
Okay.
you can select the time period of the dashboard, and you can, so the reporting is not very good in Appdy. That's my honest review. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But once you, the kind of report that you are going to send, it is in the uh, type of a snapshot or an image or a PDF. Okay. Now
Okay.
I will create a dashboard with the health of the five health rules which I have configured for this particular application, and those, that dashboard will show me in the last 1 day how my health rules were, whether they were green or red, or whether they have been triggered and how many events have been triggered. Is that enough for you?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So that kind of
Got it.
dashboard you can create and you can send it.
So the like customer owner, they are not group users. Group
Mhm.
users only for the admins of the Appdynamics. So
Mhm.
any report or any events will be in the format of, like, as you said, PDF or something like this to them.
What are you saying? Let's say, okay, I am saying we are saying two things now. You want to give the status of your application daily. Let's say this is how my application performed yesterday. You are going
Okay,
to send that report. Are you
exactly.
talking about this, or
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah? So in that case, you are going to use a dashboard, and you can schedule the dashboard to send it every day or every week whenever you want, on frequent intervals to certain email IDs.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
great. Yes, that was a question.
Yeah. Or the second thing, let's say you have configured health rules and your health rule has been triggered. The basic one, CPU utilization is beyond 80% for a particular server. That particular health rule has triggered. Now, who will be notified about this health rule trigger? That would be the second part. That I'm sure it has been taken care, or I will show you how do we handle that also.
Hmm. Okay.
So someone has to take care of that health rule, right? So if it is going beyond 80%, you have to kill some resources or you have to restart your server. That action has to be taken.
Yes, that's true.
So how you are doing that? Are you sending an email alert, or you are sending that alert or event to another tool which will consume it, like ServiceNow, which will create an incident?
Okay. You mean how we are doing it?
Yeah.
No, 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 we haven't started yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's one. That's the second part. That we will see in the alert and response section.
Hmm.
Okay. So next, the time period. Um, so basically, you will see uh, from now how, what is the past time that you want to see, how your application is performing, or the dashboard of your application. So when you say 5 minutes, you are seeing the last 5 minutes of your application. So like that, you have a standard set of time frames from 5 minutes to 1 year, because you will have only 1 year amount of data in your app dynamics. You cannot increase that. You cannot decrease that. You can decrease
Decrease
that
that.
probably.
Yes. It
Uh,
is fixed.
yeah, it's fixed. So probably you can increase that. I don't know. You can talk to Abdi and they'll charge you for that. However, there is no way that you can access it. Um, and you can, okay, let's say you don't want to see the last 30 minutes, but you want to see the yesterday's 2 o'clock time period. So some custom time period. So for that, you have to select the custom, and then you will be able to select that particular time frame, and you can see that particular time period. And certain time periods you can also save and keep it. Let's say some event has occurred, some downtime has occurred for a particular time period. You don't want to every time go into custom and select that particular time period. Instead of that, you can save that custom time period, and whenever you want to go back and refer to that custom time period, you can do that. I will show that also once we have
Mhm.
instrumented the lab. Okay, and time zone also you can set so that sometimes, let's say now itself, you are on a different time zone and I am on different time zone. If we
Differences.
both of us have to see and or what do I say? If we both of us have to be on the same page, then we will have to see the same data. Otherwise, we will be keep on argumenting on different things. We can take. I think we can take a break. Yeah, you can
Okay.
stop the recordings now. So we will go to the business transactions, or we will try setting up an application.
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay.
and then we will continue tomorrow probably.
Yes. Okay.
We are going at good pace, right? Is it okay?
Yes, yes. For 30 minutes, right?
Yeah. No, I mean
Yeah.
my training pace, is it too fast, too slow, or is it okay?
No, 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 that's okay. It's very clear because I have some backgrounds of your prior uh, lessons on
Okay.
YouTube. Apart from that, also, you are very clear because the questions which I ask you
Mhm.
exactly understand what I mean, what I want to ask. So
Okay, cool.
it's very
Great.
clear. Thanks. Thanks, Ravi.
Yeah. Okay then. I'll stop sharing for now, and then we'll come back after 30 minutes.
Okay, we have to disconnect the call or we have to remain.
I'll share you the document as well for you.
Okay, thank you.
Uh,
When will you share it? On my email?
I'm just thinking if we can share it via the chat itself. Yeah.
Okay.
So I have shared you two documents.
Okay.
Use the one application server setup.
One is lab requirements. Okay.
In just a moment, I will have to stop sharing. Lab requirements you can ignore for now.
Mhm.
So I have created an AWS CentOS VM. Okay.
Okay.
Around 2 GB RAM and 8 GB RAM and 2 CPU.
EC2, right? On AWS?
Yep, it's an EC2.
Okay.
I have just logged into that. We will download the packages and we will start with that. So yeah, so 2 core CPU, 8 GB to 16 GB is enough. This is what
Mhm. The
specifics are
requirement.
required. Yeah, requirements for our lab application setup. Sorry. This is a supercar application. The name of the application. It's a basic uh, application actually. Uh, Creating a directory. Again, I'm creating. Right. So we will have to install the wget. Probably it might be there. Let's see.
What is this we are installing?
Wget. This is like um, to browse the URLs or to fetch the packages.
Okay. So this is the process which I have to do during the installation, right?
Yeah. So I have listed all of it in this document. So you just have to follow the same. Uh, there's nothing much if you are trying it later. There are some small commands which might be missing, like unzip. I might be using a different version of this. That's all.
Okay. So now you are in your EC2 machine, right?
Yeah, I'm on this
You
EC2
are
machine. In the
okay.
Windows command line, you have command prompt itself. You have SSH. So
Yes.
in the
With
uh,
the access key, you go to the
yeah, so using the inbuilt SSH, I have logged into the Linux VM or the CentOS VM, and I have created a directory under OPT Appdynamics and also another directory called lab artifacts. So I am downloaded the package, the application package lab artifacts are .zip from the internet. Okay, just a second. I'll be unzipping that. Before that, I just wanted to check which commands I have used so that I'll unzip it accordingly. Okay.
and that is the database, right?
Yeah, go. Nothing for you. That's okay.
So first we install whatever apps or database we need, then we
Right.
will install agents, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. So I did uninstall the unzip, which was not there. So we have the packages now. Okay. We have the
Mm-hmm.
application var file. We have the database scripts, which will create the databases. Sorry, which will create the databases and etc. And which will also have scripts to uh, create the initial data of the supercars, etc. We have the machine agent. We have the phantom JS application, which will create the load. Okay,
Okay.
virtual load which we need. now since this is a Java application, I'll install the Java. Wherever if I'm going fast, you stop me and you can ask questions.
Yes. So what you installed? Java you installed?
Yeah, now Java is getting installed. So I'll
Okay.
just check if the version which is installed is the required version 1.8. So I'm not trying to change anything because this lab application or the sample application is not built by me, or I have just taken it
Yes,
from somewhere.
exactly.
Yeah, so I'm not trying to
As
play
a
around with
purpose
it.
of test.
Correct. I'm not trying to play around. Now I'll install the MySQL. For this, I'll have to download this first, the RPM. It's downloaded. And few things even I'm not aware of. So I'm not that good at database related things. So I'll just follow whatever is
The
provided.
instructions. Yes.
Yeah. Or sometimes we might good at working on that, but we might not know the administration part of it. Like installing the MySQL server, will not know, but we might be a very good database developer.
Mhm. Yes.
So MySQL is getting installed now. Uh, Sometimes there will be a GPG key error. If that is there, I have given the steps on how do we resolve that as well. You stay in Italy?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm in Italy.
I might be visiting Europe next month or next month.
Very good. Will you be visiting Italy?
Probably no. I'm going to Netherlands.
Okay, nice. If you come here, you just let me know.
Sure.
We can meet up.
Yep. Yeah. So it's installed. So cool. No errors. So this error is not coming. So I'm not going to touch this particular section. Okay.
Okay, if there is some errors, we have to rectify it by this particular section, right?
Yeah.
Resolving JPG. Okay.
Yeah. So there will be that
P-
error. So we haven't got that. Now we will start the MySQL DB.
Yes.
Let's see if it started. Yes, it is started and running.
What is the billing for EC2 just for the purpose of testing? Like we test and we immediately terminate the service. Do you know about the billing?
Uh, okay, in terms of euros, uh, if I use it for kind of 2 weeks, I think it should not cross around 50 to 60 euros.
2 weeks, you mean continuously?
No, I'm not sure if it is continuous, but
Yeah,
even
you
I'm not.
terminate
But
and you.
yeah, you will keep switching it off and switching it on.
Okay. But the same machine, right?
Yeah, same machine. And I think the cost might also vary depending on the region.
Okay,
In
yes,
India,
that's
that's the cost, but in Italy, it might be different.
different. You
Okay.
have Mumbai region, I think, as I can see in the port in the AWS console. There is a region in Mumbai, India.
Mhm. Yeah, even that region. And again, the billing also might depend on, I don't think the cost of the component will be same across the globe, right? And also
Yes.
taxes may vary.
So for the VM, I should first assign a machine, then I install all these on that particular machine which I assign, right? If I don't want to use the cloud.
Sorry, 1 second.
Yes.
So this is a new step which I'm seeing. It is asking for validate password component. I think we could have selected no here.
Which password?
The database password.
Okay.
So our application installation is done. Database installation is done. Now I am going to run few scripts. Okay.
Okay.
Which will actually create those databases inside
The databases are having some queries and some functions, or it is
yeah.
raw database?
Using the password system variable.
Yes.
Give me a moment. I'm getting some other error. I'm just
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So one more thing we have to do as part of, I'll just put that as part of this.
Can you also share these documents, because I haven't received documents for installing databases and
Yeah, this is shared, right? How many documents did you receive?
only one. The one which I received is only lab prerequisites.
You didn't receive. I shared actually two documents.
No, I only received the one which only needs to install agents and Appdynamics, things like that.
Okay. Let me send that also.
Yes.
So you will just have to do one more step in this part of queries before you install this. Okay. Do one thing. Ignore that document. I'll update that and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
There is one small step we have to do. Because in the latest version of MySQL, before you execute these queries, uh, excuse me. Excuse me. So you got what I did, what I changed, right? So you have to go to the script by using VI editor.
Okay.
So if you see that query cache size is defined, you just have to why this is not- yeah. So you just have to comment these two things: set global query cache size.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you can just run that script. Okay, so we are done with running the databases also. Now we will install and configure the Apache Tomcat.
Okay.
It's basically almost copy pasting the documents, the commands. If some of the commands are not there, let's say tar. If tar is not there, you just have to do yum install tar. That's all.
Yes.
This is I'm doing everything as a root, so you can skip this particular command, changing the permissions and all.
Okay. And you will add some changes which you say to the documents, yes?
Yeah, that changes I have added. The one which is for updating it, uh,
Okay.
commenting the first line in the script. That is there. So here I'm changing the admin password for the Apache as welcome one.
Okay. Yes.
So here I'm giving welcome one as in a case all in smaller case, but in the database I'm using W in capital and there is a exclamatory. So both passwords are not same. So just be careful of that.
Yes.
Both are different. I mean, save it. Now I'm just excluding one of the class. I'll have to comment this out. The remote address value one. So we are done with the Tomcat configuration. We will just start. So the Tomcat has started now. Now, how will we access it? Using the port 8080 of the hostname of our IP. Okay, now
Yes.
open up your browser. This. Okay. 172.31.38 to 50.
Okay.
There would be one more catch, I think. So this is about the installation from
Okay. Yes.
the web application side, but we might have to open up the incoming port, incoming traffic to this VM. Okay, that you have to do it on
Yes.
the AWS side. So I think it's not me who built it. I hope Sneha, do we have? Uh,
Maybe you need to set the subnets and propagate it to proper networking side of AWS
yeah, on the
console.
AWS website, I'll have to do it, but I don't have
Exactly.
access to AWS thing. Uh, Sneha, do we have Ranjan available? Okay. Meanwhile, we'll bring up the controller.
Okay.
Um so what you can do, you can once you go to Google, uh, you just look for temporary email ID. Okay.
Okay.
So this is a very temporary email ID. This is available for a very short period, like maybe half a day, or if you keep using it, might be there for some time. So here you will get your uh, password for your Appdynamics.
Okay. And temporary will be like Hotmail or something like that. You said it shouldn't be Gmail, right?
Right, right. It's like a temporary Gmail. So you gave your so this email address you should give your work email. So that's why it won't take Hotmail, Gmail, etc.
This is like
This is the email which
fine.
I just
Okay.
generated.
Yes, it's generated automatically.
Yeah.
Yes, got it.
So you just have to click on temp email and then you can do one thing.
And
This
password we will create, right?
job title. Hmm. This I don't know why it happened. Password you will get it as an email. Give some number. Okay. It will set up a trial instance and it will send the welcome email to this temporary email box. So from there, you will be able to set up the password.
So we have to log into that temp email.
I mean, you just keep this window open, the tab open. So here you will receive the emails. So see, you have received it.
Okay. And the password is inside, yes.
No, set up password. So I open in the same, this one, you don't do that. Open this in the new tab because this email box, you might need it. So just in
Mhm.
case.
Yes, true.
Password, ID, train, 1, 2, 3. And this is your account name. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the accounts page of your Appdynamics. So
And
here you will see how many and save this particular URL.
what is that URL for?
This is the controller URL, the SaaS controller URL.
We need it for agent installation, I think, right?
Right. No, I mean, you will have to log into this controller every
Okay.
time you do
Every
this
time we
work.
need it, we
Yeah.
can
So this
save it
will
as
get
default.
expired by June 9, as you can see.
Mhm.
And so I'll just give a brief
So,
overview about this accounts website also, which you will be using. So account Appdynamics and observability platform. So here you will see all the products that you have bought as part of the Cisco under the Cisco Appdynamics account. Okay, so you have a SaaS controller, you might have an on-prem controller, you might have multiple controllers. So everything you will be seeing it here. And under
okay.
entitlements, you will see the license management. Let's say multiple controllers can be we can, if you have multiple controllers, they'll be divided under kind of tenants. Okay, so I
Mhm.
have controller based license, one trial license. So it will show me how many licenses I have consumed uh, with respect to
Zero
enterprise and with
license
respect
so
to,
far.
yeah. But however, I have only 5. Beyond that, uh, it won't actually show the data. It will,
Five
five,
license in the sense five agents, right?
yeah, 5 APM agents.
APM agents.
Okay, so I have opened up the controller also over here. Okay, so here also you have the license page. So as you can see, 0 to 100. I'm not sure if they have increased this now because I see a different web page now in the trial version. Retention days is 8. Analytics is included now. Nice. So earlier this was not there. So good. And we also have a new type of agent called Smart Agent now, uh, which was released in December.
This,
Uh, this Smart Agent is helpful for you to manage the other agents. Like if you want to upgrade a machine agent or if you want to install a new app agent, this Smart Agent
okay.
will help you. But this is still in progress. It is not matured enough. Even we are
Mhm.
not using this yet in our organization. So it will take around, I think it might take around 6 more months to get uh, mature.
Okay. So,
So license, you will see the utilization part over here. Okay. And you can also set up rules. Let's say, yeah, in your organization, multiple teams are using Appdynamics
license, yeah.
and you want to allocate the licenses to them. And you can set up rules to them. Let's say based on the business unit or based on the technical functionality you have in the e-commerce team, right? You have let's say if it is an e-commerce application, in the e-commerce application you have the team which is maintaining the cart, team which is maintaining the UI. Okay, so for UI team you can allocate uh, this many number of licenses, and for them you will be whatever the allocated licenses, to utilize them they will have a different uh, application access code. Okay, it's kind of a password to for the agent to communicate to the controller. So I will show that, but I'm just showing you in the license page.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
um, yeah, so you can bring up your own controller. For now I will be using this controller. Find more. And this will be your account name.
Account name. Yes.
So whenever you log into your controller, it will ask your account name. So I'll show you that. Okay, so this will take you to the Appdynamics account homepage. However, if you directly want to go to the controller, this account name, usually account name will come here. But since we have created dummy one, trial one, they have given a dummy account name. Okay, let's say your organization name is Microsoft. Then it will create a account controller as
Microsoft.
microsoft.slash.appdynamics.com, and this will be your account name itself when you access it. So you have to click on use local login, and this is the account. And I think account is this one now, since we have. Oh, did I lose my email?
You closed the windows, right?
Yeah. And I logged out of AppD as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll create another one. That's okay. So
Yes.
this is how you can create the controller. Okay. With respect to application, no, we are done with the application, and the only thing is I'll have to get the port open. I'll get that on the AWS server itself. You just have to open up the 8080 port. Okay, the inbound rule.
Inbound rule, yes.
Yeah, so you have to open up the traffic so that you will receive the application calls. So once you do that, we can bring up the application.
Okay. But now the web page is not opening, right? We are
Yeah,
not
because I am not able to reach the server.
Yeah.
This particular server's traffic, I am not able to reach it.
So it should be done on AWS console, right?
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can go through this. You can,
Yes.
and I mean, if you're trying to practice today, after our session, we are kind of done now. After a session, if you're practicing and if you have any queries, you can post it in the WhatsApp group chat. I'll try to answer if I see that. Okay.
Yeah. Which WhatsApp? Because I have two different WhatsApp.
There's only one group which is
Oh,
created.
okay. Okay. Yes. 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 Found it. Found it. True. Okay. Good. And can you send me the updated documents for the installing apps and database?
Yeah,
Because
it is
you
updated.
mentioned,
It is updated. You just have to follow it. The one which I have sent now, it is updated.
oh, updated, right?
Yeah,
So,
the
oh, the
second
last
one.
one. Okay, I haven't seen the last one. Very good. Okay, perfect. So, we can meet again tomorrow, right?
Yep, we'll meet again tomorrow.
Okay.
Same time. Okay.
Uh, Tomorrow it can be also earlier because, yeah, tomorrow can we have at, today we started at 11:30 IST, right?
Yeah.
Can we start at 10:30 IST tomorrow?
10:30. Yeah, probably I should be fine with that. Okay.
Thank you.
Sneha, meeting is okay, right? Zoom. Should we reschedule that?
Yeah, no
Yes,
worries. We can do.
Okay. Okay. Okay, guys.
thank you.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Sure.
Thank you,
Thanks.
guys. Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye bye.